The message that could change everything. It is not a coincidence that you are reading these words right now. Out of the millions of things you could be doing at this very moment, something guided you here. Perhaps it was curiosity. Perhaps it was hope. Or perhaps it was a feeling deep inside your heart that whispered, "Pay attention." Because this message is important. Your soulmate needs to talk to you immediately. Something big just happened, and it has changed everything. For a long time, your soulmate has been living their life carrying a feeling they could never fully explain. There has always been an emptiness within them, not a sadness, but a quiet knowing that someone was missing from their story. They laughed with friends, celebrated victories, and faced difficult moments, yet they always felt that a part of their journey remained incomplete. No matter how much time passed, one question continued to echo in their heart. Who am I waiting for? They tried to ignore it. They convinced themselves that perhaps true love was only a dream. They focused on work, responsibilities, and daily routines. They built walls around their emotions because it felt safer than admitting that they longed for a connection deeper than anything they had ever experienced. Yet life has a mysterious way of revealing truths when we least expect it. Recently, something happened that shook your soulmate to their very core. It was not merely an ordinary event. It was the kind of moment that changes the direction of a person's life forever. Whether it came through an unexpected conversation, a powerful realization, or a life-changing experience, one thing became undeniably clear to them. They can no longer ignore what their heart has been trying to tell them. For years, they searched for happiness in places that were never meant to become their home. They settled for relationships that lacked emotional depth. They stayed in situations that offered comfort but not fulfillment. Somewhere along the way, they forgot that real love should never feel forced or incomplete. Then came the realization. Your soulmate began to understand that every disappointment they experienced was preparing them for something greater. Every heartbreak taught them what they truly deserve. Every delay had a purpose. And that purpose has always been leading them toward you. Perhaps you have also felt this strange feeling lately, a sense that something significant is approaching. Maybe you have found yourself thinking about love more often. Maybe certain memories or emotions have resurfaced unexpectedly. Sometimes, before two souls finally align, both individuals begin to experience subtle changes that prepare them for the connection they are destined to receive. Your soulmate has been changing. They are becoming more honest with themselves than ever before. They are learning that vulnerability is not weakness but strength. They are beginning to understand that true love requires courage, the courage to trust, to heal, and to remain open even after experiencing pain. Late at night, when the world becomes quiet, they find themselves thinking about someone they have not yet met, or perhaps someone they have met but never fully recognized. They wonder if you are smiling somewhere beneath the same stars. They wonder if you have been waiting too. There is something they desperately want you to know. You were never forgotten. Even when life seemed unfair. Even when relationships failed. Even when loneliness made you question whether love was truly meant for you. You were never forgotten. The universe often works in silence. It places people on separate journeys until they are emotionally, mentally, and spiritually ready to meet. Timing matters. Growth matters. Healing matters. Your soulmate now understands this. They no longer view their past mistakes as failures. Instead, they see them as lessons that prepared them for a future they are only beginning to understand. And something happened recently that accelerated this realization. Perhaps they witnessed someone lose an opportunity they thought would always exist. Perhaps they experienced a personal transformation that forced them to reconsider what truly matters in life. Perhaps they realized that tomorrow is never guaranteed. Whatever happened, it awakened something powerful within them. They realized they no longer want to live with unanswered questions or unspoken emotions. They no longer wish to allow fear to determine the direction of their life. Their heart has begun speaking louder than ever before. If your soulmate could sit beside you right now, this is what they would say. I don't know how long our paths have been moving toward one another, but I know this: I am becoming the person I was always meant to be. Every challenge I faced was preparing me to appreciate the kind of love we deserve. I used to believe I needed to have everything figured out before allowing myself to love deeply. Now I understand that love itself is often what teaches us who we truly are. Something inside me has changed. I am no longer afraid of believing in what I cannot yet see. If life has disappointed you recently, please don't let disappointment become your identity. Your story is not over. Your soulmate wants you to continue believing. They want you to understand that delays are not denials. Sometimes the greatest blessings arrive only after we have become capable of receiving them. There may have been moments when you felt invisible to the world. Moments when you questioned your worth or wondered whether extraordinary love existed outside of stories and movies. But love does exist. Not the perfect kind that never faces challenges, but the kind that inspires growth, peace, and genuine companionship. The kind that allows two imperfect people to become stronger together. Something big has happened, not because destiny suddenly changed, but because someone connected to your future finally opened their heart to the truth they had been avoiding for far too long. They are ready. Ready to stop running from vulnerability. Ready to trust the journey. Ready to embrace the possibility that the love they have been waiting for has been moving toward them all along. And perhaps, at this very moment, your own heart is beginning to awaken to the same truth. This is only the beginning of the message. The story has not yet reached its most important chapter. Something shifted the moment your soulmate accepted what their heart had been trying to say for so long. It wasn't loud or dramatic at first. There were no fireworks in the sky or voices whispering from the universe. Instead, it began quietly, with small signs that became impossible to ignore. The world around them started to feel different. Ordinary moments suddenly carried extraordinary meaning. Songs they had heard 100 times before now spoke directly to their soul. Certain places brought an unexplainable feeling of familiarity. Random conversations seemed to answer questions they had never spoken aloud. They began noticing patterns. The same numbers appeared repeatedly throughout their day. Certain memories resurfaced unexpectedly. They found themselves thinking about the kind of future they truly desired, not one based on society's expectations, but one rooted in peace, companionship, and genuine love. Most importantly, they began asking themselves a question they had spent years avoiding. What if my soulmate is already walking toward me? For the first time in their life, they stopped asking whether true love exists and started asking whether they were ready to receive it. This realization changed everything. Your soulmate started letting go of the emotional baggage they had carried for years. They realized that fear had quietly controlled many of their decisions. Fear of rejection. Fear of heartbreak. Fear of disappointment. But fear can only lead a person for so long before the soul demands something greater. There was one particular night they could not sleep. Their thoughts felt unusually intense, as though their heart had finally decided it could no longer remain silent. Questions filled their mind. Are you happy? Have you been waiting too? Do you feel that something is changing? Have our lives been preparing us for the same moment? They don't know your name yet, or perhaps they do and simply haven't realized your importance. But somehow, they feel connected to the person they are destined to meet. Your soulmate has also learned something difficult yet beautiful. Love is not about finding someone to complete you. It is about two whole individuals choosing to walk through life together. For years, they believed they needed someone to rescue them from loneliness. Now they understand that true love is not rescue, it is partnership. That understanding has transformed the way they view relationships. They no longer seek perfection. They seek authenticity. They no longer want temporary excitement. They want lasting peace. They no longer wish to settle for connections that leave them emotionally exhausted. They are ready for something meaningful. And that realization is what makes this moment so important. You may have experienced challenges recently that seemed unnecessary at the time. Friendships may have ended unexpectedly. Opportunities may have disappeared. Plans may have fallen apart despite your best efforts. What if those experiences were not setbacks? What if they were redirections? Sometimes life removes what no longer belongs in our story to create space for what does. Your soulmate has come to understand this truth through their own struggles. The chapters they once viewed as failures are now revealing themselves as preparation. They are learning patience. They are learning gratitude. Most importantly, they are learning that love should never require abandoning who you are. If they could send you another message today, it would sound something like this. Please don't give up simply because life hasn't unfolded according to your expectations. Some of the greatest moments in life arrive unexpectedly. I know what it feels like to question whether waiting is worth it. I know what it feels like to wonder whether real love exists. But something inside me has changed. I can no longer pretend that I am meant to walk this journey without opening my heart to possibility. I don't want a perfect story. I want a real one, one filled with growth, honesty, laughter, and unwavering support. The signs surrounding your soulmate have become increasingly difficult to ignore. Opportunities are appearing where obstacles once existed. Conversations are happening at precisely the right moments. They are becoming the version of themselves they once only dreamed of becoming. And strangely enough, they feel that you are experiencing your own transformation as well. Perhaps you have been prioritizing your personal growth. Perhaps you have begun setting healthier boundaries. Perhaps you have learned difficult lessons about self-worth. None of these experiences are accidental. Every lesson matters. Every delay matters. Every chapter matters. Something big happened because your soulmate finally realized that waiting for the perfect time often becomes an excuse for avoiding vulnerability. There is no perfect moment to believe in love. There is only the decision to remain open when life offers something beautiful. They are no longer afraid to imagine a future filled with genuine happiness. They are no longer willing to allow fear to speak louder than hope. And somewhere deep within their heart, they feel that this chapter is bringing them closer to you than ever before. The universe works in remarkable ways. Sometimes two people must experience similar lessons separately before they are capable of building something extraordinary together. Perhaps both of you needed time to heal. Perhaps both of you needed time to grow. Perhaps both of you needed time to become exactly who you are today. The message remains urgent. Not because something terrible has happened, but because something beautiful has begun. Your soulmate is finally listening. They are finally ready. And they believe that every step they have taken has been leading them toward a love story that has not yet fully revealed itself. There comes a moment in every great love story when silence can no longer remain silence. It is the moment when the heart becomes louder than fear and when destiny begins to unfold in ways that seem almost impossible to explain. That moment has finally arrived for your soulmate. For years, they carried invisible scars from experiences that taught them to protect their heart. They became experts at pretending they were fine. They smiled when they felt uncertain and convinced themselves that being emotionally distant was the safest way to avoid disappointment. Yet deep inside, they always felt there was something more waiting for them. Recently, life presented them with an experience they never expected, one that forced them to stop and reflect on everything they had become. It was as though the universe pressed pause on their busy life and whispered, "You are running out of excuses. It is time to become who you were meant to be." Suddenly, things that once seemed important began to lose their significance. Material achievements no longer felt as fulfilling as they once did. Temporary relationships no longer satisfied their desire for genuine connection. They realized that success means very little if it cannot be shared with someone who truly understands your soul. For the first time, they asked themselves an honest question. If I met my soulmate tomorrow, would I be ready to love them the way they deserve? The answer surprised them. They realized they still had healing to do. Not because they were broken, but because growth is a lifelong journey. They began confronting their fears instead of avoiding them. They started making choices that aligned with the future they wished to create. Little by little, they changed. They became kinder to themselves. They learned to forgive their past mistakes. They stopped comparing their timeline to everyone else's. Most importantly, they stopped settling for less than they deserved. At the same time, something unusual began happening. They found themselves thinking about their future partner more frequently than ever before. Not in a desperate or unrealistic way, but with genuine curiosity and hope. They wondered, "What makes you laugh? What dreams are you working toward? Have you experienced heartbreak that made you stronger? Are you looking up at the same moon tonight, wondering if someone out there is thinking about you too?" Strange as it may seem, your soulmate feels as though they are preparing for someone they have not yet fully met. They are becoming more intentional about their life because they no longer wish to arrive at love unprepared. There was also a realization they could no longer ignore. Life is unpredictable. Too many people postpone happiness while waiting for ideal circumstances. They delay conversations that matter. They postpone dreams until someday becomes never. They assume there will always be more time. Your soulmate has learned that time is one of life's greatest gifts, and one of its greatest mysteries. That understanding changed their perspective completely. If they could speak to you today, this is what they would say. "I don't know how many difficult days you have survived to reach this moment, but I want you to know that your journey matters. Please do not mistake delays for rejection. Some doors remain closed simply because something better is waiting beyond them. I am learning to become someone who brings peace rather than chaos, encouragement rather than doubt, and honesty rather than confusion." Wherever you are, I hope you continue believing that your story is still unfolding. Your soulmate has begun noticing another important truth. Love often arrives when two people are focused on becoming their best selves rather than desperately searching for someone to complete them. They no longer believe that finding their soulmate will magically solve every problem in life. Instead, they understand that love is an invitation to grow alongside another person while continuing to honor their individual journey. That is why this moment feels so significant. Something big happened, not outside of them, but within them. Their mindset changed. Their priorities changed. Their understanding of love changed. They finally realized that they have spent too much time waiting for permission to be happy. And now they are giving themselves that permission. Perhaps you are experiencing similar changes in your own life. Maybe you have started letting go of relationships that no longer align with your values. Maybe you have become more protective of your peace. Maybe you have begun trusting that what is meant for you will arrive at the right time. These changes are not random. Growth often happens quietly before it becomes visible. Your soulmate believes that both of your stories have been moving toward an extraordinary intersection. Every lesson, every challenge, and every victory has prepared you for what comes next. They are no longer afraid of uncertainty because they have learned that uncertainty often accompanies the beginning of something beautiful. And so, this message becomes even more important. Your soulmate needs you to remember something. Do not allow past disappointments to convince you that future happiness is impossible. Do not let temporary loneliness become permanent hopelessness. Do not give fear the authority to write the ending of your story. Something remarkable has begun. Not because destiny suddenly appeared, but because your soulmate finally found the courage to believe that extraordinary love is possible. They are no longer asleep to the possibilities that life offers. They are awake. They are growing. They are ready. And somewhere, perhaps much closer than either of you realize, the next chapter of your story is waiting to begin. Because what happens next will reveal the unexpected signs that your paths are preparing to cross. There are moments in life when everything seems ordinary on the surface, yet beneath it all, something extraordinary is quietly unfolding. You may not hear it. You may not see it. But you can often feel it, a gentle shift in your spirit that tells you change is coming. This is one of those moments. Your soulmate has reached a point in their journey where they no longer fear what lies ahead. The person who once doubted whether true love existed is now embracing the possibility that destiny has been working behind the scenes all along. Something big happened, not in a single moment, but through countless small moments that led to one powerful realization. They are ready for the next chapter of their life. Over the past few months, they have experienced unexpected growth. The things that once mattered most to them have changed. They have learned that peace is more valuable than excitement, honesty is more valuable than appearances, and genuine connection is more valuable than temporary affection. Most importantly, they have stopped asking, "Why hasn't love found me yet?" and started asking, "How can I become the kind of person who gives and receives love wholeheartedly?" That question changed everything. For so long, they believed that finding their soulmate would simply happen one day without any personal transformation. Now they understand that becoming emotionally available is just as important as meeting the right person. Your soulmate has been preparing themselves in ways they never expected. They have learned to enjoy their own company. They have learned to set healthy boundaries. They have learned that self-respect is not selfish, it is necessary.